We've got the very latest on the Rams trading Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford comments for the first time about the decision to trade Kupp, and a wild Giants Stafford Kupp rumor that's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramley, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you want to do me a huge favor, join the party, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you really want to support the channel, hit the like button, drop your comments down below. We'll be responding to those and including some of those on the show. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. Travis Rogers, the People's Champ, has been sick. He'll be back tomorrow. But we've got a jam-packed show. We got the latest on Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford comments on the Rams' decision to trade Cooper Kupp, and a wild Giants rumor. But first, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Okay, so let's get right into it. We've had a couple days now to just process and digest the reality that the Rams are going to be trading Cooper Kupp. And now we know that the Rams could potentially pay down some of that money that he is owed to try to get a better draft pick. According to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, when the Rams were getting calls for Cooper Kupp back in October, they were telling teams out there that were interested that it would take at the very least what the Raiders got for Devontae Adams, which was a conditional third-round pick that could potentially turn to a second-round pick if they wanted to trade for Cooper Kupp services. But this time around, there definitely is not going to be anything like that as far as offers go that will be coming the Rams' way. So no team was going to pay that asking price. But Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, he was on Rich Eisen's show today, and he said that this week the Rams did have, quote, serious offers and, quote, good value on the table at the time. So that tells you that they probably were pretty close to possibly moving him. Had they lowered their asking price, maybe he wouldn't have been on this team for the stretch run in the playoffs. But you jump to now, and it's going to be difficult to get anything close to that. It's going to be difficult to get anything other than a day 3 pick unless the Rams are willing to pay down some of that money. And really, it starts with that $7.5 million roster bonus that will be due on the third day of the new league year in March. And the Rams are going to have to pay that if he's still on the roster. So other teams that might be interested in looking for Cooper Kupp, they would like the Rams to have already paid that. Or you could just wait until the next month and save that money and then try to trade for Cooper Kupp then. Or what I think is more likely is they can negotiate with the Rams and get the Rams to pay the bonus anyway to try to get the deal done. Now, Ian Rappaport, he reported this week that the Rams could be willing to take on some of that salary, some of the contract for Kupp to make it easier to find a destination for him. Because remember, they're going to be working with Cooper Kupp to find him a situation that at the very least that he feels pretty good about. And that could also help the Rams get a better pick. So basically, the Rams could be paying Kupp's salary, Kupp's contract, to get a better pick. It happens sometimes. We've seen this in the NFL. Is that going to happen? We don't know. But at least it is something that's being talked about. I've heard that as well. The Rams are willing to do this if they can get a better pick. But look, the truth of the matter is whenever you get that update that Cooper Kupp has been traded, most likely you are not going to be very excited about the pick that they get. It is going to be a late round pick. I mean, just a couple years ago, you trade away Jalen Ramsey when he was still in his prime at 28, the best cornerback in the league, and you got a third round pick and a tight end out of that in Hunter Long. And a lot of people were pretty surprised about that return. I heard all the people out there on social media calling Rams general manager Les Snead settle for less, right? A lot of people were disappointed with that return, but this is a different situation because Cooper Kupp, he's 32. He's coming off one of the worst seasons of his career, and he just hasn't been able to stay healthy for the last 3 seasons. And you add on top of that they're looking to find a good situation for him. Well, it's going to come as a compromise. It's going to come as a compromise for the Rams, for Cooper Kupp, and the team that wants him is going to be inheriting some risk. I mean, if I'm a team that's looking to trade for Cooper Kupp, I'm saying, hey, this is someone that has basically over 2,000 yards receiving for the last 3 years combined, a little over that. This is the same amount of receiving yards he had in that Super Cup year that led to that $80 million extension, right? So that's how GMs are going to be playing this, to try to give up as little as they can and get the Rams to pay down as much for Cooper Kupp. But, I mean, just look, this is something that we're used to. This is nothing new to us. Look what the Rams got for Allen Robinson, Cam Akers, Van Jefferson, Ernest Jones. I mean, we're talking 6th-round picks. So the point of all this is to say, don't make matters worse by getting upset or being disappointed when you see the return they get for Cooper Kupp, because it's not very easy to try to get assets that you feel good about in this deal. I mean, they're trying to do right by Cooper Kupp. Now, and I know there's some backlash out there from some Rams fans that are upset about this, that they don't want to see him traded to another team because of what he's meant to this organization, on the field, off the field. He's the indelible image. I picture him making that for the love of the game route catch against the Bucs, the catches he made against the Bengals, the game-winning catch in Super Bowl 56. I love thinking about that. It's a great moment. It's something that's going to be burned in our football memories forever. But this is the right decision. And it's not because of the health. It's not because the Rams could use a more dynamic, more explosive receiver to pair alongside Puka Nacua. It's about the money. If he was being paid $7-8 million, you could look past all that stuff. You could say, look, we understand that there's been some injury issues. We could find another receiver and we can work you in and you could still be a part of this team. But money-wise, he's just getting paid so much for what his production is that it's tough to make it make sense. And his cap hit for 2025 is $29.78 million. In 2026, that number goes to $27.33 million. That's a $57 million number for the next 2 years. That's a ton of money for a receiver that's on the wrong side of 30, that's had production dip, that's had injury issues for the last couple of seasons. And if the Rams can find a way to execute a trade, they'll save $12.52 million in cap space. They'll lower his cap number from $29.78 million to $17.26 million in dead money. So that is savings. That is money that you can put towards any other position need, linebacker, cornerback, adding another receiver. I mean, that's going to help you, especially because you need to re-sign Matthew Stafford, and you need to re-sign him badly if you want to continue to compete for Super Bowls for the next couple of seasons. And Matthew Stafford made some comments about Cooper Kupp and the Rams' decision to trade him, and we're going to talk about that next here on Locked On Rams. Looking for tickets to your next big event, maybe last-minute tickets to the big game next week? Whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. But with Gametime Picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how it works. With Gametime Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals, so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings. I've been using Gametime Picks for a while now, and here's why I love it. The curated deals make it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. I recently grabbed a super deal for a prime seat, and I couldn't believe the value. It was a steal. The seat view feature is a game changer. Before I even hit buy, I can see exactly what my seat will look like in the venue. It's so reassuring. And the best part, you're covered with Gametime's lowest price guarantee. If you find a better deal somewhere else, they'll refund you 100% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options if something comes up. Ready to make your next event even better? Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, a special shout out to those Every listeners out there. Cannot thank you enough. Join the Every Listeners Club. Now is the time to join. Super Bowl championships are made in the offseason, free agency, the draft. So now is a better time than ever to join that Every Listeners Club, and then you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Rams. So Matthew Stafford, he was on CBS Sports HQ. He was asked about the Rams' decision to move on from Cooper Kupp, and he had this to say. He said, quote, "It's tough. I've been around long enough to know anything is possible, but Cooper's been a pillar of this organization and this community for a long time since he got drafted here. His ability to impact the guys in our locker room, obviously his play on the field and the people in the community he's been able to impact, it's incredible. Super Bowl MVP, the guy's as good as it gets when it comes to making plays on the grass, but he's probably even better in our locker room, meeting rooms, and obviously as a family man. Lucky to get to spend the time that I got to spend with him. Probably spent more time with Cooper Kupp than any other teammate I've ever had as far as in the building and talking football and being about football. So I'll miss him. Nothing being the same on the team." So he just said, I'll miss him not being on the team. He said it's not going to be the same. And, of course, you know about the Breakfast Club. That's where Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, they would meet in the Rams building in the off-season, in the morning, during the season, and they would just have film sessions. They would break down things. Puka Nacua was in the mix. They're as dedicated as anyone when it comes to this game. They also had a podcast. They had a show together, Nine and Dime. So you're not going to see that anymore. And, look, I mean, definitely a professional statement. Didn't really get too much into it, but it really hits me, though, is just that last sentence. So I'll see him not being on this team. It won't be the same. So to not see him is definitely going to impact him, but that really feels like a guy that wants to be back. Feels like a guy that's going to be back with the Rams, and Cooper Kupp is going to be elsewhere. Because, look, Stafford knows that to win this league, you need stability. You need a great head coach. You need an organization that is not afraid to move off of guys like Cooper Kupp if it means getting you some help that could help you go out there and pursue another championship. I mean, I hate this phrase, football is a business. And yes, as much as I hate it, it's true. It is true. And this is another reminder of that. But I think how it plays for Matthew Stafford almost reminds me of, look at Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and LeBron James getting Luka Doncic, and Anthony Davis was his guy, and he's, of course, going to miss Anthony Davis, but in his mind, he probably thinks, hey, Luka Doncic, he has the opportunity to win a championship here and maybe extend my career. But how could that help Matthew Stafford as far as the Cooper Kupp departure? The truth is the Rams need just a more dynamic receiver. They need more variety on the receiving end. And that is what Sean McVay told us. Sean McVay said after the Rams season-ending loss to the Eagles in his press conference the following day was that, hey, he wants to see more versatility on offense. And that wasn't directly a shot at Cooper Kupp or anything like that, but Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, they're similar receivers in a couple of different ways. And you have a opportunity here to bring in someone that brings a little different of a dynamic to the table. So instead of having two receivers that have similar skill sets, you can add someone that can bring that different dynamic that Sean McVay is talking about. You need a receiver that can stretch the field a little more. You need a little more explosiveness. You need a receiver that brings a different spark that Cooper Kupp just at this stage of his career just wasn't bringing. And it's tough to say. I mean, it almost feels like Buzz Lightyear and Andy from Toy Story, right? I mean, Puka Nacua is Buzz Lightyear. Cooper Kupp is Andy from Toy Story. It's sad. I mean, this father time, it kind of always comes, especially earlier than normal for receivers, but I definitely want to see what they can do. I mean, do you go with a shiftier, a smaller kind of slot type of receiver that can go in and out of crossing routes and things like that? Could you go with a faster receiver and kind of stretch the field? I mean, there are going to be options out there. And we saw last season, I mean, they were interested in Mike Evans. They were interested in Rome Odunze. They were interested in adding a different piece in a different dynamic. And I think that they know now that with Matthew Stafford still having the ability to perform at the level that he's capable of, why not? Why not go get a couple more weapons for him and chase another Super Bowl because you've drafted so well? You have some cap space. You have the ability to go out there and make moves. And I'm excited to see what they do in the draft as well, too. I mean, do you pick up a receiver there? But coming up next, a wild rumor about Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and the New York Giants. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to make it even more exciting than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded, Prize Picks makes it fun and simple to get in on the action. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, and if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard to win. Pair that with one more correct pick, and you're cashing out. This week, I'm looking at the board and selecting more for Travis Kelce on receiving yards and more for Patrick Mahomes on passing yardage. What I love most, fast, safe withdrawals. When I win, my cash is in my account in as little as 15 minutes. Check out the promos tab to tail any of the super sweet Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you could win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So what the heck does Malik Nabers know about Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp? And why did he take to Twitter to post some cryptic tweets that have Rams fans freaking out? Malik Nabers, star receiver for the Giants, he tweeted out yesterday 9 and 10, a Rams emoji and an eyes emoji. Then this morning, it was just a 9 emoji. So what is that? You had fans responding, Stafford and Kupp, and I see what you cooking, bro, with gifs of Kupp and Stafford. Stafford and Kupp, I see what you're cooking. Giants fans are taking this as the Giants are going to be trading for Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. And look, we haven't heard any rumors about the Giants and Matthew Stafford. We don't know if this is a recruiting pitch to try to get Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford to push the Rams organization to trade them to the Giants. The Giants are a team that has been rumored to draft Jador Sanders. Would this be a complete rebuild situation where the Rams are looking to do that for an extremely high pick to find a way to get their quarterback of the future? I mean, I think from that standpoint, you wouldn't be able to get that taken care of, but it is very interesting. I mean, to say the least, anytime a player goes to Twitter to post something cryptic, it definitely sticks out. I will say that if Cooper Kupp is serious about going to a contender, the Giants, as currently constructed, certainly aren't that team right now. But hey, maybe that means maybe it's a Luka Doncic AD situation. Maybe Malik Nabers. How about Malik Nabers gets traded to the Rams and then they get Cooper Kupp? How about that? Sounds like a fair deal. But look, this is pretty interesting. I mean, we'll see what comes of this. I find it very very odd that a player would kind of go out there, especially one as high profile as a Malik Nabers, to do this. Is this something? Is this nothing? Is this ultimately everything? I go back to what Matthew Stafford said, because it made it seem like it was a goodbye to Cooper Kupp, not, oh, we're going to relocate and play together and join forces on another team. But, hey, it's the NFL. Crazy things can happen, but we'll definitely monitor that. Hopefully it's a lot of nothing, because I did not want to see Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp on the New York Giants. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.